I was bit by a tick, and so the type of tick was called a Lone Star tick, which is different than the little black deer tick that were common in this area. But this one's a bad boy, and we had our 2 sons and our 3 grandchildren home, so it was a celebration time. And I invited David Grantham over to meet the kids and my sons.
Stephen and I have become like brothers in Christ, and like natural brothers, really.
I was just not feeling well. I said to David, I said, I don't feel good, I need to sit down. Debbie took my temperature and it was 105.
We kept calling the doctor and saying, hey, I can't control the fever. And it was Cindy Grantham in the back on the phone that said, just walk in. So we took him over and the doctor immediately said, I've got your results back, liver's not doing well, go to the ER. Everything just kind of started getting worse. His fever wouldn't stop and he was flailing, they couldn't control that. And Steve has no memory of this because he had already slipped into a coma, but nobody told us that he was in a coma.
This event unfolded in June and July of last year, and they had been attending our life group probably for 8 months or so, close to a year maybe. The role of our life group, surrounding Debbie with meals, my wife and several other ladies helped ferret her to and from Tallahassee every day when that point in time came when he no longer could be taken care of here. But then the spiritual part is that we just covered Debbie and Stephen in continual prayer.
He had been in the hospital in the ICU unit sometime and all the tests were out, but not all the results were in. And it was on a Friday that the doctor actually told me to call the boys in because we had to make some choices.
The doc basically had said, there's nothing else to do, no other alternative.
His kidneys were failing, his liver was failing, his heart was not doing well because he didn't have good blood. They were transferring his blood.
Make a decision to move him to a long-term home. She's never gonna wake up.
We were going home and then Sunday morning we would drive back and let them know what to do.
Show me one thing he can do. Show me a mountain he can move. He's the God of the breakthrough and anything is possible.
When that Sunday morning was when the special prayers went out from Tiffany.
Sunday morning rolls around, we go to church. 3 different words came forth. And Tiffany was participating in the worship team on bass, and she comes to the microphone. She gave such a heart-wrenching, guttural plea. People, don't let this opportunity pass you. You don't understand the price that has been paid for you to have the opportunity to experience the power of the Creator, the ability to be healed. It's just a matter of realizing it's been given to you. And I was standing worshipfully, I had my hands up, I was pleading in prayer for Stephen. I could almost tangibly feel the atmosphere changed. I asked one of the other members in the life group, Johnny, I said, were you there? And he said, you don't even have to say it, I know what you're talking about. I felt it also.
And I wasn't there, but I understand it was very moving and many people felt a change.
Yeah.
We went to one of the places that we eat after church sometime, and my wife gets a phone call from Debbie. And she said, you're not going to believe this. They pulled the endotracheal tube on Stephen this morning, and it was sometime between 10 and 12 when the service was going on. And Stephen opened his eyes and looked around. Debbie was standing at his bedside, and he said a couple of words.
His first words to me, after it's like, hey, you're awake, was, he sang, "Have I told you lately that I love you?"
And ever since then, it was a slow progression back to healing.
The healing side, I am where I am. I've made tremendous progress. You know, it's taken a year, 50 days in intensive care can be challenging. And there's a verse in Isaiah chapter 46, verse 3b and 4. God's saying that I made you, I will care for you, I will be your God throughout your lifetime, and I will carry you and show you my salvation. And many times when I had to go through some tough things, you know, I would just turn my head to the side and let them do what they had to do and just say, carry me, carry me.
I grew up in church. I was blessed from that perspective. I remember sitting in church on communion Sundays back then, and I've often thought, why did Jesus say this, do in remembrance of me? He doesn't need to be remembered. He doesn't need to be elevated. He accomplished his goal. He's sitting at the right hand of the Father. But he said, this do in remembrance of me, so that we wouldn't forget. Remember me when you need anything done. Remember me when you need a relationship healed. Remember me when you're in the midst of a battle. He demonstrated that to Stephen and Debbie. He demonstrated that to our life group. We don't come close to understanding how much he loves us and how badly he wants a relationship with us. And that's what it's about.